All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are just a few minutes out of the senior women's semifinals heat number 1. I am Zachary Zwanenberg, joined here with Clay Wright of the United States. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks. Welcome. Nice to be back.
All right, we'll start it off as we wait here. Like I said, we're a few minutes out, maybe less than a minute out. We'll have to see when when the flag is coming out. Looks like we've got
And
Heidi Walsh.
we just saw the quarterfinals from the men's, which is cutting to the top 10. But this isn't the quarterfinals for the women. What is it?
This is the semifinals. So the quarterfinals, there were so many people in the senior men's category this year that we cut to the top 20 for quarterfinals. Then it got cut to the top 10 for semifinals.
Exactly. The men had one more round because there were so many more men than there were women. But the women are cutting straight down to 10.
So the 10 that will be paddling today are Heidi Walsh of Great Britain, Miki Sato of Japan, Anais O'Donovan of Ireland, Darby McAdams of the United States, Courtney Kerin of New Zealand, Tula of Poland, Abby Holcomb of the United States, Hitomi Takaku of Japan, Emily Jackson of the United States, and Ottilie Robertson-Shaw of Great Britain.
Wow, that is quite the international field there, Zach. What do you think? Were you surprised to see so many paddlers from all over the world? Oh, it looks like Heidi is on the wave right now.
Yes, I guess they just transitioned to it a little late. So she's on there for her first ride in the semifinals.
Coming all the way from Great Britain. She's actually coming straight from the UTS Extreme Creek race. She did really well out there. One of her runs put her in the top 3, but I believe she fell down by the end in the finals. But she is a great all-around paddler, running some of the biggest drops in Norway this season as well. Super focused on creek boating lately, but she shows back up to her roots here in freestyle, and let's see what she's got.
So she started off her ride here, 5 seconds left. The first ride currently looking at around the 33 points. Unfortunately, she got a flush on that last loop attempt. So I'm sure she's going to be looking for a better ride in her next.
Yeah, and the women have been out here pretty much all day. A lot of these women came out here to cheer on their friends. They were out here for the junior women. They were out here for the men. A lot of them have been announcing. Some of them have been judging as well. It's been a really long day of competition out here, but thankfully, this Columbus weather is perfect today. We really couldn't ask for better.
Yeah, and here in the slow motion replay, we're just watching her as she tries to set up for. She's going for that blunt. Unfortunately, doesn't get quite there, but it still looks like it would have scored as a roundhouse. So the definitions we've mentioned it a couple times already, but for those who are new, roundhouses, blunts, Pan Ams, those very similar looking tricks. They're all about how vertical you get your stern. You'll see a Pan Am is something you'll see super over vertical stern with some air. A blunt, your stern must be within 45 degrees to 90 degrees, and under up to as low as 15 degrees is the roundhouse. And the scoring for those goes consequentially from lower for the roundhouse all the way to the highest for the Pan Am.
That's right, and we always go with the term edge in equals edge out. You're going to see the athletes who get as much of the sidewall of their boat deep into the water with as much speed as possible. That sidewall is going to cause the boat to leap back up and out of the water, and that is how you get the power to flip the boat into a more vertical angle. So on a roundhouse, you can really just slide across the water. These boats are a little bit like snowboards. The bottom of them is flat as a pancake, so all you really have to do is throw out a reverse sweep as you're coming flying down the wave, and you can do a little roundhouse. But if you want to get a lot more angle, you got to dive your toes into the water and send that boat flying back up and out. Hopefully they'll show slow-mo some more of those a little later.
So here we're seeing Miki Sato, the first of the two Japanese paddlers here in the women's semifinals. As she drops into the feature, she's going to be looking at it to start it off with a trick. Unfortunately, doesn't quite get the pass on there. Spinning it to the left or right on that shoulder, looking to get another pass down the feature.
There's that roundhouse she was looking for. Yeah, you can see her really diving the edges of that boat down, and that's what causes it to rebound back up. Oh, nice big back blunt there. That was over 45. We'll see what the judges say, but I liked it. And over 45 is going to be a lot more points than the under 45 one. So those girls are all going to be trying to do both of them. Why would they do both, Zach?
So you can score both one of each direction. So you can go for a blunt to the right and then go back to do the same trick on the left side. It scores the same amount of points, but you get to double the score.
Now, someone like Miki who's done, oh, there goes a nice air loop right on the buzzer, but she does flush off the back of the wave. So if you do the same trick twice, if she does a right spin and then she does another right spin, what does she get for her second right spin, Zach?
Unfortunately, nothing on the second unless she adds a bonus. So she could clean up the left spin the second time and add the clean bonus to that first spin that she pulled off.
Right, but there's just one button for right roundhouse. So if she does 2 right roundhouses, the second one scores a 0. So you're going to see these girls all going for blunts. But if they miss their blunt, if they get the roundhouse instead, they might follow it up and try that again. That's why you see so many of the athletes doing 2 of the right roundhouses. Like, there you go right there. So close to a blunt, not quite. So she might come back and try to repeat that just to get more points on her scorecard. But if she gets it again, she didn't actually get any more points. So you're going to see a lot of right spins. You're going to see a lot of right roundhouses. That's because these women really want to get the rebound into the trick and get that blunt for the extra points. Whoa! Wow, she started out with a loop. That is an aggressive first trick. The loop is one of the last tricks in my ride. What do you think she started out with a loop, Zach?
You'll see a lot of the paddlers from different parts of the world are more accustomed to training on different features such as holes or waves. And depending on what, you'll see a mix of different strategies. So if you're feeling more confident with those hole tricks, you may want to opt into throwing the hole tricks first to get some points on the board. Unfortunately, in this case, it didn't quite pay off the way I'm sure she was hoping for. She's still looking for it, trying to get the plug. There it is. Nice and aerial. She's going to be happy with that.
Beautiful. Some of these girls, like, she might have been doing a ton of training for the Nottingham Worlds, so her hole tricks are actually stronger than her wave tricks, and she really wants to get that 100 points. An air loop is 100 points. She got it. That's going to be worth more than the roundhouses and spins that some of the other girls are doing.
And with the short amount of time you have, 45 seconds, on a wave like this where you don't have, it takes a little bit of time every time as you land a trick to get back to the top. Sometimes going for your hole tricks can be honestly more beneficial in certain cases. We saw Ottilie take advantage of that yesterday to take that top spot in the women's category.
Yeah, and as you see there, Miki had that awesome ride with multiple spins, multiple roundhouses, a really nice, what seemed like a high-scoring ride. And then Anais shows up and does one trick and gets the same score. So that's the hard thing about freestyle. If you're 30% at a high-scoring trick, you might want to just try it 3 times until you get it, and that's going to be better off than doing the easier tricks and getting them all.
All right, so here we're seeing Darby McAdams of the United States dropping into the feature for her first ride.
Darby is no stranger to wave surfing, but usually the waves are a little bit bigger. She goes to the stakeout. She likes to go to Skookumchuck. She does a lot of wave surfing. She competed in the Garb Worlds. Oh, going for a McNasty, not quite getting it. I haven't seen Darby do quite as many hole competitions, so I think her favorite thing to do is going to be the wave tricks here. Super powerful paddler. Also a good creek boater coming out of Hood River. So the White Salmon is her home river. And I think she goes over to Skookumchuck to do her wave training. This wave is quite a bit smaller than Skookumchuck, but you're going to see some power and a lot of wave tricks, most likely.
And there, as we were mentioning, there's the backstab to the left that we saw. Unfortunately, catching a bit of an edge going up, trying to set up for that extra trick. But one of the reasons, why do we see the spin into the backstab? We see it pretty often.
Yeah, the spin into the backstab just saves time. It takes a little bit of time to get your balance once you're in a back surf. And when you're in a back surf, you're going to be at the bottom of the wave. So if you go to the top of the wave and just spin around to backwards and then let yourself fall down, that's going to give you that additional speed. And that's going to let you power the edge into the water. And then it will rebound back up and you can throw it over the top. See how she's got that speed down the wave? Oh, that one didn't quite work. She didn't quite pull up on that knee enough to get the boat to fly, but you can see she goes up to the top, then you spin backwards when you're up the top, and now you're coming down the wave into that. Oh, that was a McNasty attempt, but the same idea. Coming down the wave backwards from the top. But it's hard to get to the top of the wave when you're backwards, so most people go up forwards, spin around, and then drop on in. Nice back roundhouse there for Darby. She's not going to be happy with that, though. She wants more. Oh, and up next, Courtney Kerin. She's been living over at the Hawiah Wave in New Zealand. She used to travel the world, but with COVID, she's been stuck in New Zealand for a while, but she picked the exact right place to be. Hawea Wave, one of the best waves anywhere, happens to be a man-made artificial feature over by Wanaka in New Zealand. And she is going to be at home in holes and waves and features of all sort. She grew up traveling around in the Jackson Kayak RV. Left her home, left her family, came over here, started doing kayak competitions, creek runs, creek races. She just got a world's worth of kayaking into a short few years before COVID locked her down in New Zealand. So great to see Courtney back on the scene.
Yeah, and unfortunately we didn't get to catch the beginning. It seems like they forgot to transition back to the live camera early on there. But it looked like she started off with a couple spins, looking to link them into some roundhouses. And then she went right into the McNasty attempt, which is one of the higher scoring moves, and very, very bold choice to start off with.
Yeah, Zach, I can't believe you just kept watching that other ride and forgot to transition.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll blame Zach because we don't actually know who's controlling it. We'll get to see more of Courtney, though.
Definitely. She's still got another ride up next.
This is the semifinals round. So now, instead of having 3 rides in 2 count, we're going to have 2 rides in only 1 counts. So these rides, that is going to be what we call a throwaway ride for Courtney. We hope that her next ride will be so good that she can throw that one in the trash and never look at it again.
And the format of changing between combined rides and single ride counts really helps balance out the competition. It lets you show off the paddlers who are really consistent and the paddlers who are able to throw very, very, very big single rides. So you need to be proficient in both to make it up in these World Championships and Cup events.
That's right. 1 really good ride will make it through if you're good enough. Or 2 pretty good rides will make it through if you're good enough. But as you get to these later rounds, only 1 ride counts. So only the people who can throw that best ride will advance.
So here, I don't believe we saw Courtney's score come up yet. I think they must be having a couple technical difficulties on showing what's properly supposed to be on screen here. Hopefully they show it in a bit here before we move.
And realistically, the technical wizardry going on today is amazing. We are judging from the complete wrong side of the river. We are announcing from the complete wrong side of the river. We are watching TV right now. That's what we're doing, Zach. Isn't that kind of funny? We have one of the best views of the wave hole and all the athletes of anybody here, and yet when I really want to see what tricks they're doing, I look at the TV. The TV is so good here, and your camera angle that you guys are getting at home is actually better than the angle that any of us here on site can get. So we're actually watching the same screen that you are. You guys have the best seat in the house.
Yeah, we've actually got 2 shores of the river here with tech on both sides. Camera showing you the angle that you see of the feature, beaming it all the way across the river to the judges' stand and to you guys back home.
I wish I could pick up the camera and just do a 360 view just to show you what we're up against. Just upstream here, there's a big dam. There's a giant dam upstream, and it says, "Danger, no boats per Georgia law." There's a little man-made dam. The way goes out of the dam, over this little riffle. There's all these buoys up there to keep you from going upstream, and then right into this feature. Just up above this feature, which you can't see, is a giant power line. A ginormous power line going straight over our heads on one side of the river, straight across downstream towards Columbus on the other side of the river. And our athletes and some of our tech people and the coaches are out on this tiny little slip of island with some trees and some little rocks. And that's where the athletes normally stage while they're watching each other take their rides. So when you're over there on the little island doing your rides, you are completely safe from any other people. You got water on both sides of you. No one can actually get out there. So what we're doing today is we're taking people out in rafts. We're rafting the tech crew across the river so they can set up the cameras and beam it back to us on the side with the road and the side that the cars can access. And on this side of the river, while straight over our head is a massive power line, there's also a beautiful river walk that goes all the way down from here down to the town of Columbus. And you've got families walking with strollers, you've got people jogging, you've got people biking. This is just a really beautiful path of exercise straight from Columbus, straight north up to the lake above. I guess also downstream, we've got a big safety crew down there. They have rafted out to the rafts that are staged on the rocks below this wave, just in case anyone swam. But the Chattahoochee is such an amazingly warm, fluid, safe river. There's really unlikely to be any accidents here. This is the kind of place that we jump into for fun. I've surfed this wave on a boogie board, I've tried to ride it on a surfboard, and I have jumped in and just swum it for fun. But the one thing is, if you do get around the corner, the river's so wide. It's like a half a mile wide, and you end up in the dead center. So if you don't swim hard and get to the bank quick, you end up having to swim a really long way, and the whole event would have to stop waiting for you to go get your paddle. So we've got a nice safety crew there waiting to pick up any gear that comes their way.
And the rafts that we're using to ferry officials across, help carry athletes if there's any issues across, they're being guided by the amazing crew at Whitewater Express. They've been essential to this event, hosting all of the athletes at the wintering grounds and their facility, supplying food, drinking water, and showers.
It looks like Courtney's getting a rerun. My guess is that the cameras didn't show the judges her ride either. She needs to put on a big smile right now. All you can do when this happens is just go ahead and smile, get a reset. Just like you're doing a free throw and you just missed the first one, she didn't miss the first one. It was just a technical difficulty. But she gets the option of going again or taking her score, and she's not having that. She wants it. She's opening up with roundhouses both ways. Beautiful. What a technician. 3 roundhouses on the board and a shove it right into a right spin. Look at that. Into a shove it. She's got all the low scoring tricks on her scorecard already with just a few seconds into her ride. What is she going to do next?
So here she comes lining up. She looks like she's trying to plug for the loop. Unfortunately, not getting the pass. There it is.
Yes!
Staying in the feature. This is definitely a better ride than the one that she managed to have a rerun, so I'm sure she's going to be extremely happy with this situation. She's going for
an orbit. Oh my gosh, I don't know what they're going to do with that. They might give it a trophy one and a McNasty paddle.
Oh my.
Oh, if they count that McNasty, that is an amazing ride from Miss Courtney Kerin from New Zealand. That will be one of the highest scoring rides we've seen today. But just a question of whether that McNasty was finished enough and what they're going to do with the orbit. Me personally, I've given an orbit a trophy move on numerous occasions, and we'll see what the judges do. An orbit is simply an older trick than the lunar orbit. They used to do orbits all the time. It's a stern squirt, 360 degrees right back into a front surf. But then people started cartwheeling out of it, and it's called a lunar orbit. So I'm not sure if these judges will know what the orbit is when they see it. We'll just have to see.
Exactly, yeah. And for retaining the feature, it doesn't look like they are currently giving the McNasty, but the way that they've described it to us is if you are able to stay within the foam pile and completely stop your downstream momentum, they will count it.
Wow, there's that orbit. Beautiful trick, just barely at 45 degrees, but I thought it looked pretty good. We'll see what the judges say, but that was a really nice trick. Not sure if oh, and there's that McNasty. Look at that, one stroke right there. Pull. Oh, just barely missing that trick. That would be a lot of points if she had stuck that one. Wow, Heidi electing to paddle in from the river right eddy. That's a tough move. It almost feels like your first trick. Oh, before launching in, that could have been a blunt, Zach. I'm not sure. What do you think?
We'll have to wait and see. The angle looked a little bit on that edge, but it'll all be up to the judges on what they score it. Currently looking like they are scoring it, a few judges, as potentially a roundhouse here. Going for the roundhouse to the left. Unfortunately, catching a stern edge. She's going to have to work her way all the way back up that eddy. She's still got 20 seconds left on the clock. The thing is, though, is once you flush, you've already got this ride planned out in your head. And if you flush, you need to you have very little time, maybe 5 to 10 seconds to work out where you're going to start, what you're going to do next, how you're going to then break up the routine you already had been possibly in times spending years developing and training.
That's right. You got to really be able to think on your feet. Heidi gets a nice loop out of that one and a couple roundhouses. I'm not sure if that'll quite catch up to Courtney's ride, but we will have to see what the judges think of that. Here comes that roundhouse. She gets such good power into it. I'm not sure why that bow doesn't go on. Just not quite enough edge. She's probably used to a little bit faster waves and doesn't realize you really got to muscle this one. This wave, oh, there's that nasty stern catch. That was kind of cruel showing that one.
Definitely,
Heidi
yeah.
did some great kayaking, and that was not part of it, but she did some great kayaking in there.
Oh, so there we got a bit of camera rotation showing off the other side of the shore there with the Whitewater Express rafts. But here comes Miki Sato for her second ride.
Miki McNasty. That's what they would call her. She's got that trick on speed dial at some spots, but this is a really hard spot to do it. I did not actually have a McNasty until the very last trick in my ride because they are just so different here than in a hole. She is doing some spins, trying to get some other tricks. She's got that right spin, kind of like last ride. She's got that right spin, but she just keeps doing it because she's trying. There's that back roundhouse. There we go. Now she's off and rolling into the left front roundhouse. So 2 roundhouses in a spin so far. What else is she going to have for us? She looks like she wants that McNasty in a lot of ways. Let's see. Oh, going for the back roundhouse the other way. I think she got that one. What do you think, Zach?
Definitely looked right. Plugging in with 2 seconds left, getting the loop around. Can she retain the feature? We will have to see whether they include that in the points.
Yeah, I think that was maybe not quite as good as Courtney's, but I don't know what they're going to go on that one. Sometimes the judges say all you have to do is upright and paddling before you cross the foam pile, the peak of the foam pile, and other judges will say you have to completely stop your downstream momentum and have the potential to stick it easily. And then if you mess up, they'll score it anyway. But the easiest thing for the judges to do is either you stick it and you're still in the hole, or you don't.
Yeah, and it very much depends on each competition. Before each competition, the head judge will communicate to most of the athletes the intended rules for retention, air, but they can sometimes be slightly different depending on the feature. As
here's that front loop. Looks like she tucked really nice. Comes up, oh, a little bit of a brace, and she got on that forward stroke really nice and fast. I think that brace cost her just a critical half second.
All right, so next up we'll be going back up to Anais O'Donovan of Ireland.
Anais has been staying with the Hargrove family, and she is staying with the most local of the local families here. They've got all sorts of kids competing. We just saw their son Mason taking top spot in the men, so she's been getting some really good training and lots of rides to the hole, and really just a super positive, helpful family to hang out with. So no doubt she's in a good headspace, but that's where you get. Anais is always smiling, always having a good time, always right there with the good morning when you open your door in the morning. She is just a fun person to hang out with, so she got invited to stay in that Hargrove RV right here in the parking lot, and she's been training like crazy. We'll see if it pays off.
And there she is setting up in the river right eddy. She's choosing to get into the feature from the eddy. It is definitely a very bold strategy, as it is a lot of work to ferry across, and you could miss. It is not guaranteed that you will make it onto that feature.
Oh my gosh. Oh my
no.
gosh. Just like we were talking about, if you start on that river right eddy, the first trick you've got to do is surf that little pour over, maintain your speed across some dead water, and then really accelerate into the hole. She's moved 100 times, and it's so sad that she did not make it today. But she is powering up that opposite eddy. What will she do? Now she's probably going to go right for that loop. Hopefully she's not going to rush. She needs more than the loop. She needs the loop and another trick. So she's got to spin. Oh, you better paddle. You better paddle. Come on, go. Go, help her up. Help her up. Yes, she has made it.
8 seconds left.
Oh, she goes for the McNasty. Hail Mary move, and she sticks it. Oh, she's going to be happy with that. We'll see if the judges think it was straight enough, but that was a great Hail Mary move. She didn't have any of her normal nickel and dime tricks. She couldn't get the loop down, so she goes straight into the McNasty, one of the higher scoring tricks you can do here. If the judges think she got it, then her score is going to go straight up, possibly to the top.
Yeah, and here we see her getting off. We got the coaches hanging out in that corner. Each athlete is allowed one coach, and you'll often see a whole bunch of them, as there are 5 athletes per heat. Coaching is one of the essential parts of the sport. It helps you, the athlete, get into the mind game. Sometimes, after one ride, you might not be feeling happy, and you got that person on the side. And here we're sitting at, unfortunately, ride 2 is going to stick with the 6.67 points. She'll be sticking with her first ride of, I believe, was 140.
Oh, okay. We have a slightly different angle on our screen as the judges do, and they are definitely looking at things from a slightly different angle. And that's why sometimes we see these in different ways. It's really hard to judge these events when you've got any angle at all. It would be amazing if we had like 3 different camera angles going at the same time, but we don't. So we're just doing what we call. So I really liked the look of that McNasty, and I hope she did too. But the judges didn't, and that's just how the cookie crumbles. Here comes Darby McAdams dropping into this little wave all the way from Hood River, Oregon. She's come almost as far as some of the Europeans. The U.S. is a very big country, so this is not an easy place for her to get. So she has really gotten out of her comfort zone to get over here and show her stuff. Known as one of the big wave surfers, one of the best big wave surfers in the United States, taking her turn on this little one and really showing her power and her technical ability into that back blunt. Beautiful back blunt there for Darby McAdams. Going for the loop, not quite getting it though.
Darby McAdams, not only a big wave surfer, but also massive creek boater. She can lay down just beautiful lines on things like North Fork.
Yeah, really made her name for herself, going straight out to the Hood River and dropping off the 70, 80-foot outlet falls when she first got there. She's got a lot of guts, but she's also really good at the skills. She can really keep her calm when the pressure is on, and she has shown that again and again on hard rapids, big waterfalls, big waves, and right here, trying to get above that 66-point ride.
Yeah, we're seeing the women come out here and throw down their first of 2 heats. This is, of course, a round now where they don't add any scores. Now it is 1 ride counts, and it looks like right now...
Wow, looks like she might be tying Courtney Kerin. The score hasn't gone green yet, but right now it is a tie for first place. Darby getting a 153.33 on that ride, and that is the exact same thing that Courtney Kerin has on the scoreboard. Oh,
So it'll actually matter what Courtney's and Darby's second score is. If it does end up in a tie, it's still going red. We weren't not going to know quite yet. However, right now there is no safe spot to be since there it goes. 146 goes green. Go ahead, Clay.
Okay, so it is not a tie. She's going to be right behind Courtney Kerin, but that's a good place to be. Courtney is a great wave paddler, and we saw her just nickel and diming those tricks, really working the shove-its, the spins, the roundhouses before going into her bigger moves. Courtney really showing the technical side of this sport, getting more tricks than anybody we've seen so far, and Darby just getting that beautiful back blunt to catch up with only a few tricks.
Absolutely. Now we have Courtney Kerin come taking her second ride, and as I was going to say, one of these rides will count. The other one will only count as a tiebreaker. We're no longer adding scores, so it is a 1-ride format now.
Oh, that is just mean, Hodger. Why would you do that?
Well, that's just how we do it in semifinals. And Courtney coming in nicely, which is setting up that roundhouse or blunt to the right as she establishes her ride.
Yeah, Courtney got a nice roundhouse one way, going into a blunt the other way. It looked like it was high enough to me. Really nice ride, going for a back roundhouse the other way. Just racking up those points. Look how much control she has. Wow, Courtney has gotten much better at wave surfing while on lockdown in COVID in New Zealand. Looks like she was in the right place for sure. Look at this. Look at the precision. Look how she carves that boat around in the water, getting to the top multiple times and thinking, no, I'm not high enough. I want to get even higher for this McNasty. I'm not sure if that McNasty was straight enough, but that is a very hard trick. Courtney nailing that stuff right after all these other tricks. Wow, super impressive ride for Courtney Kerin.
Right.
All the way from New Zealand.
Right on the buzzer. Right now her score is sitting around Darby's score, so we'll see. She right now holding on the first place spot. There is no safe spot. There's 5 more women who will come after this. However, they will make their mark here, and we're going to move through the semifinal round for the women's, and then stick around after this, too. We do have the junior men coming up next. But Courtney Kerin not only on lockdown for practice, but she is coming off of shoulder surgery within the last few years as well. So she's got to rehab that shoulder, and she's just doing well.
She also had ear surgery. She got the dreaded surfer's ear that I've gotten before and had to get that operated on. So luckily she was over there in the land of free healthcare and got a lot of things fixed up before coming back to perform for you guys here at the World Cup in Columbus, Georgia.
That's right. We're here on the Chattahoochee River in Columbus, Georgia at this whitewater park, the biggest whitewater park in the U.S. 143 for Courtney Kerin. She's going to stick with her first ride score of 153, and that's going to be how she puts her name on the board today. We're going to have to see what the rest of this heat has.
Man, and even if the rest of these women are able to knock her off the next round, that was a super impressive ride. I haven't seen Courtney paddle this that well ever. And I know she's got the bigger tricks, but she is just trying to do what it takes to make the next round, and she put on some really good performances. Darby McAdams, we definitely know that we can see a lot more from her, and all those women. Anais, we saw her throw some of the hardest tricks and just sadly flush off the feature. So it's really interesting. All these women could do better. We just have to wait and see who does.
That's exactly right. Next round coming up, we're going to see Zofia Tula, or Zosia Tula from Poland, Abby Holcomb of the United States, who is the current junior world champion, Hitomi Takaku from Japan, Emily Jackson of the United States, and the current reigning world champion of the women, Ottilie Robinson-Shaw of Great Britain.
Oh my God. If I was in 5th place, or if I was in 1st place right now, I would be so happy until I looked up at the scoreboard and I saw who's in the next heat. That is a daunting heat. Oh my God, we got Zofia. She's like European champion, silver medalist. We got Abby, current junior medalist. We got Hitomi, 2 years ago, gold medalist in the women's class, multiple time silver medalist. Emily Jackson, like 3-time gold medalist. Ottilie Robinson-Shaw, current C1 squirt and women's world champion.
Yeah, and I believe Hitomi Takaku was the women's world champion in 2019 as well.
In Sort Spain, yeah, that's exactly. And she had been silver twice before that.
So now we've got, what do we got here? One, if we count them all, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 just world champions.
Oh yeah, this is a very heavy, like heavy with medals around their neck round. This is an impressive heat right here. I'm super stoked that so many of the top women in the entire planet chose to be in Columbus, Georgia for this event right here for you.
That's right. Zosia right now got the thumbs up, or the giant green flag. She's coming down here. She's been the Polish champ since 2012, actually. Silver medal in sort, gold medal in sort in 2018 World Cup. She was silver medal in 2016 World Cup in Argentina for both of them, and here she goes establishing her right, but unfortunately catching an early flush on that very risky entry move.
But that's okay. She has proven herself time and time again. She put down the highest scoring women's ride in history in Buena Vista, Colorado one year. And the Europeans were saying it's a different judges, different scores, and that is true. But honestly, it was the highest scoring women's ride we had ever seen in the U.S. So she doesn't need her full ride to get a higher score than a 153.
That's right. So even given that flush, she still has time. She still has another ride after this. Struggling a little bit here. She goes in for those roundhouses, trying to establish this ride. Looks like they've only awarded her one of those roundhouses. This is going to look like her throwaway run, so she wants to get one more plug here, possibly for that front loop. Space Godzilla, we'll see what the judges award. So Zosia's definitely going to want to come in and do a much bigger ride next.
I would definitely say I've seen Zosia paddle better. What do you think?
Absolutely. She is she will paddle better. I have all the confidence in this next round. This next ride, she's going to come out here and really lay down a big score.
You know, sometimes you see that people are just struggling, their skills aren't quite up to par, and they don't know how to do things. And other times, like Zosia, you can see that she knows how to do these tricks. She was just a little bit off, but in a wave like this that's so flushy, a little bit off is all it takes. Then she wasn't quite sure whether to go ahead and throw it anyway or whether to back off. And that moment indecision is all it takes. You are gone. As soon as you don't throw your heart out, then you are off the wave. And it's a long paddle back. And then after paddling back up, you kind of got to like reset your head. It's like doing a sprint around the gym and then trying to hit a free throw. Just a different game when you're paddling straight back up the eddy and then trying to get calm enough to hit your next trick.
All right, and I apologize for the quick little switch there. I had to take a quick run and grab something, but I am back now, and we are ready to continue on with the second heat of women's semifinals. Next up, we've got Abby Holcomb of the United States. She's getting ready, waiting for the green flag from the judges.
Abby Holcomb has been traveling the country lately, but mostly she traveled the country with her parents, who are sponsored by Winnebago, write blogs, and go around and shoot beautiful pictures of that Winnebago and of just nature shots. Follow them. They are the Holcomb family. They are Famagogo. They have a great website, and she has been traveling around to these beautiful places and being like, sometimes she's the sports model, sometimes she gets to go kayaking, sometimes she's behind the lens, but now she's out on her own. She is junior world champion. She is out of the rig, and she is trying to make her way as a professional kayaker by moving from the junior class. Even though she's still a junior, she has moved into the senior class, going up against the best in the world to try to show that she's got what it takes as well.
Yeah, and we are confident that we're going to see some pretty incredible rides from her in here. We've seen her paddle on Good Wave, the feature that's going to be featured in the World Cup final number 2 later this week. And I've seen her throw down, honestly, some of the best tricks of the week.
It was really a great story last year. She shows up at Good Wave and was very scared, did not want to surf, was super worried about hurting herself, very, very cautious about Good Wave, and came up here. So I came up here with Abby, and we did so many sessions up here because this is where everyone felt comfortable and happy and safe. She got her tricks on, and then she went right back to Good Wave and started throwing those same tricks on Good Wave. She is right back in her comfort zone now. She's worked all these tricks on the small wave. She's put them all into the big waves. She's been on Garburator all winter, and now she's back at her comfort zone.
And there was an unfortunate flush there as she accidentally caught the stern. She tried to pull it around in a back loop. It came so close to retaining it, but she's still got plenty of time as she works her way back up the eddy. She's already got 71.67 points on the board from her first couple tricks, and I'm sure she's going to be looking for some more right off the bat here. Let's see what she's got.
I know she is. She might have actually been going for a back loop. That is a beautiful back blunt she's got, so that was a lot of points right there. Probably throwing the back blunt the other way. Yeah, those 2 tricks alone are going to be a lot of points. Abby is not particularly worried about having a long ride because she can have a short ride just like she did right there and get a whole lot of points in not much time.
Yeah, and as we saw there, it's with one ride putting her into the top spot, depending on what the score comes out at the end. But definitely a solid ride, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing her second run.
Now, Zach, why do the scores bounce around before they're finalized?
So one of the cool things about these new scoring systems we have is it's live scoring. So as the judges are putting the scores in, the system is showing everybody, including the athletes actually, what the score is looking like. So sometimes you'll see at the end when they bounce up and down, and we see it finalized at 178 here for our first run. Well, as you see them bounce up and down, it says the judges are making small changes to the final decision. The head judge looks through and makes sure that everything is judged fairly and equally across the board.
That's right. I might be watching my ride, and I'm sitting there thinking, oh, she did these 3 tricks, and they were really good. And I look over my scorecard, and the scribe either missed one or they put it in the wrong place. So we check our scores before we finalized and before we submit. So the live scoring shows what the scribes wrote down, but the judges might have something a little different that they remember or that they meant to go on their scorecard, and that's why it changes. Hitomi Takaku, she is one of the best paddlers out here by far, but one of the best paddlers in a hole, on a wave. She's got a beautiful home wave at her home spot in Japan, throwing air screws, throwing helixes. She's got all the hardest tricks in the world, but we'll see what she chooses to perform for us today.
And she takes it right into a beautiful backstab to the left. She's probably going to look for the same thing on the other direction. It looks set up at the top. No, she's going for a pass, going for an air screw. And she brings it across, not getting a ton of air on that, but it was still very nice. Spinning up onto that right shoulder, plugging for the loop. Kept bringing it around, almost retaining it. Unfortunately flushing on that one, but still a solid ride for Hitomi Takaku.
She got those 2 backstabs right off the bat, so that's a lot of points. And we'll see what they say on that air screw or donkey flip. The camera angle was a little hard for me to see, but that is a full 360-degree rotation. You go like you're going to take off a blunt, drive a lot of edge down, then you throw yourself around the boat. The boat goes up and over your body and back onto the water before your body lands. It's a really snappy, fast trick, but a lot of these athletes you see out here have worked to perfect it all year long, and they're dying to perform it for the crowd.
All right, and next up, we're moving on to Emily Jackson. There's very little description needed for this this woman, but I'm sure that you have some stuff you can fill us in on.
I don't really know Emily very well. I don't know. She's new to the scene. I'm kidding. Emily's been out here since she was a little girl, and she is just a beautiful competitor and a beautiful person. It's great to see her move from being just a cutthroat competitor to now really encouraging everyone around her. She's got a job. She's one of the big wigs at JrMK. She's out there. She's probably been working spreadsheets over there between rides, and yet she comes out here performing in front of her 2 kids and her husband and her dad and her mom. This is like her happy place. This is like her home. This is like a Sunday picnic for Emily. It's what she does every weekend, and you can see that she just genuinely enjoys it right now. So however her rides go, I think she's going to have a smile on her face, and she just wants to show that she can still throw down like the rest of the women.
Exactly, and she's also one of the many people nowadays that you're seeing balancing a full-time competitive paddling life along with a full family who, for the most part, all paddle. And we're seeing that becoming a very, very big trend nowadays.
Yeah, the ability to work online opens up road life to more families. Homeschooling has opened up road life to more families. And kids, with these small boats that we come out with, kids love getting in the water. As long as you don't take them and get them really scared or really cold. In general, kids love a whitewater playground. You just keep it easy, keep it fun. Then the whole family gets to paddle together. It's really a great family opportunity that's available for everybody. Because with a life jacket on, there's really no way to get hurt in a river of this type. The kids can be in a stroller, they can be asleep on the bank, and then when they get a little bit older, they can join you out in the eddy, and then soon they'll join you on the wave.
All right, so it looks like Hitomi's score locked in at 303 points, which is
Wow.
very, very good. I'm sure Emily's going to have something to say about that as she drops in for her first ride here.
That's right. On a regular basis, usually the women go first, and I always like to watch and see what Emily does because she's just a super smart competitor. So when I see what Emily does, a lot of times I just kind of copy that because I assume that's probably the best way to get the most parts with the least chance of flushing. She's just so smart about it. She's got all the tricks, anything you can do, but she chooses the one that she's got high percentages of, and a lot of times it works. It works beautifully. Look at that, those back blunts, throwing a back Pan Am on this little wave because she must think that that is the best chance she's got of getting a lot of points and the least chance of flushing. She is very, very unlikely to flush, but I mean, you know, anybody can flush on this wave for sure, but she is super consistent and ridiculously retentive.
And there you saw her manage to cartwheel her way back into the feature after a blunt. There's I believe that was a roundhouse. Unfortunately, I didn't quite catch it.
Almost looked like a roundhouse into a back roundhouse, like a shove-it style. Oh no, she is missing that loop, but look at that, stays on the wave all the way to the buzzer. That's what I was talking about. And then she goes for a little practice trick at the end because she's thinking about her next ride.
She shows so much situational awareness in the feature. You saw her go for the Space Godzilla and even landing upside down in the foam pile, already knew exactly where to paddle, how to roll up to stay in.
That's exactly it. There's so much experience that pays off in this. When you're upside down, if you can remember which way is upstream, and also remember that you're supposed to go upstream or you're going to flush, it's amazing to see these people take a forward stroke to stay on the wave from upside down.
I have an announcement for all the live streamers watching at home. Apparently, one Kev from New Zealand, it's his birthday today. So we here at the arena want to wish Kev a very happy birthday on behalf of Courtney Kerin, who is on pins and needles now watching as this goes along, watching Emily Jackson's score come up and how this is going to settle out. So happy birthday, Kev.
Happy birthday, Kev. He's been here
Happy
since
birthday, Kev.
watching Courtney as a junior in her first event as in Plattling, Germany, where she got a bronze medal. He was there cheering her on. He was at NOC. He's been at all these events, but he's not at this one. Hopefully, Courtney advances and he gets to watch her again.
Definitely. And now we're moving on to the current first place position holder, Ottilie Robertson-Shaw. She is also the reigning world champion at the moment.
Audie is, some people were calling Hitomi a machine because she paddles all day long, every single day, and never seems to get tired. But Audie is much more like a machine. She is so focused on her competition ride. Beautiful paddler, lots of creative tricks, loves to go paddling. But when the judges sit down, she is ready to throw those tricks. Look at her intense focus. She has got ridiculous focus, and she is going through her ride right now, and she is about to explode onto your screen into those high-scoring tricks.
Exactly, and we know that she's capable of absolutely incredible tricks. Her scores in Nottingham were through the roof, and in the squirt boat competition, we actually saw her pull the highest scoring ride of the entire squirt competition earlier this year. So I'm expecting some great scores from her today.
That is right. There is no one in history who has done more preparation for these events than Ottilie Robertson-Shaw. Coaching almost every day at Nottingham, working super hard, lots of video review, throwing an entry 3, one of the riskiest moves in the game. right into McNasty as her first 2 tricks. But if she gets that entry move, she's already got 80 points on her scorecard before the timer even starts. So while it's a super risky move, it's also pretty high scoring. So right now she's probably only got that 1 trick, but she is going in. Maybe they gave her a huge bonus on.
I believe that would have been a huge bonus on the entry move. And now she's looking to set up for the McNasties, which is one of her key things that we've seen her do in this feature. Manages to retain it, and it looks like they did give it to her. It plugs in for the loop, comes around very, very straight.
Oh my gosh, that was a
Pan Am.
huge back Pan Am. Ottilie has definitely, with just any 2 of these tricks, and she is already probably near the top of the podium. With all of those tricks, I would imagine that she has just bettered the score of Emily Jackson. She will move to the top of the list.
Yeah, definitely. Currently sitting at around the 550. It's bouncing up and down below that area, but it's definitely going to lock in as the highest scoring ride for the women's semifinals as of late.
That was incredible. Just that entry move was incredible. Then her McNasty was incredible. And then that was one of the biggest back Pan Ams I've seen all day, including the men's class.
Yeah, that was an absolutely massive back Pan Am. And you can see it paid off with the score.
538. So one of the most something I really want people to hear here is that when you see someone like Ottilie Paddler, it's not that she can bench press 300 pounds. It's not that she's stronger than the guys. She's just really good at using her boat. Emily Jackson, same thing. These girls are just putting in the time on the water. They love the sport, they work hard, and they can score just as high as the men. This is a great sport for women and for young people and for tall people and for short people, because the river doesn't care how big you are. It doesn't care how strong you are. The river has plenty of power all on its own, and it will throw you into the air higher than anyone else if you're better at using it. It's not a strength sport. It's really a knowledge of how to use the power the river has and make it work for you.
Yeah, the more you paddle on a feature, the more you paddle on the water, the more you go down rapids and play around, the more instinctive it becomes to use the water with the hull of your boat. But here, Ottilie's score came in at just under 550 at 546.67, putting her comfortably in first place at the moment. And here we have Zofia coming in.
Zosia Tula from Poland. She could definitely better that score. I've seen her hit 1,000-point rides before. She's starting out with some roundhouses or blunts both ways before going right into the loop. She got it this time. That's where she did that unfortunate flush last time, but not this time. Oh, she's going for a back loop and getting it.
Wow.
Oh, my gosh. One of the first back loops we've seen in this competition, certainly the first in the women's class, for spinning it around. What is she going to do next? Going for that McNasty. Oh, little flat on that McNasty. I don't know if they're going to give that one, but she probably knows it. She's like, I'm just going the other way. Oh, I don't know if she got that one either. She's sitting on a 200 on the virtual scoring. She's going to want to get more tricks than that, but she can do it. Oh, there's the buzzer. We will see what the judges say. I bet they're all deciding whether to give those McNasties or not. Going for a tricky woo.
She pulled it around, too. Unfortunately, not retaining it, and it was after the buzzer, but that's still very impressive on this feature.
That's right. Zosha's showing us that she could throw out a back loop. She can throw out a tricky woo. She can do lots and lots of tricks on this feature. We just got to see her complete the trick to the judges' definitions and also stay on the feature, and then she will be right up on top of the scorecard again.
But currently with a unconfirmed score of 238 at the moment, that'll bump her up into the 4th place position. We'll have to wait for the final score to come in, but she's definitely going to be happy with that ride, and I know that she can best it. Especially we saw her attempt throw on some really big tricks, not quite sticking them, not quite getting the technical definitions of those tricks, but knowing that she's capable of throwing them, we could expect potentially a really high-scoring ride from her at some point.
At some point, that is for sure. We just have to hope that that score stays high enough and she advances to the next round. But it's kind of hard to hope for because that means Courtney Kerin's going to get knocked off and not get another chance. So what do you wish for? Do you wish for the athlete who could definitely win this whole thing to get to the next round and have a chance? Or do you wish for the technician, somebody like Courtney, who did so many small scoring tricks to get the chance to step it up and throw the harder ones? It's really a hard game. It's like everybody's got their own cards. We don't know what they are, and you play your hand to the best of your ability. And really, that's all you can do. And then it comes down to your judges and the ride. But Zosia, 238, she will be advancing, and we will get to see her paddle tomorrow.
All right, next up we're going to be seeing Abby Holcomb get into the feature. She's dropping in for her second and final ride of the semifinals.
So once you're on the top 5 list, how come they're taking their second ride? Shouldn't they just save it for the next day?
So as we mentioned multiple times today, it is reverse or seed order for the next rounds. So starting with the preliminaries, once you qualify, the person in first place always
Nice
goes
back
last in the competition. That lets them really analyze what the paddlers are doing to try to, at the very last minute, pull off the winning ride. But here we're seeing her. She started off with a nice back blunt, as Clay mentioned. She's looking for another pass, trying to get something else. Goes for a roundhouse to the right.
She's probably going for that blunt, but I think it roundhoused on her. Not quite enough angle, not quite enough edge, but we will see what she got. But yeah, she wants to be sitting on top of the scorecard. So if Zosha happens, oh, really nice loop there for Abby. If Zosha happens to hit that tricky woo and both McNasties, then Abby will know that she has to do that too, or she will not be going home with the gold. But if you go into the finals in 5th, you might think that you just had the gold medal winning ride, and the other girls are like, yeah, sorry, no. And they just shut you down. So it's way more fun to be going last and know the score to beat.
Yeah, and with that ride, we haven't seen it finalized, but it's definitely going to move her up above. Look, currently would put her in 3rd position. Very good second ride for Abby Holcomb.
But Hitomi also has another ride. I think that was Abby's second ride.
It was. That was their second and final ride for the semifinals.
So all these women have the opportunity to go even higher. And some of them might be able to pass her, but I think Hitomi is the only one left. Let's see. Oh, Abby's score just went up a little bit more. Still right under Hitomi, though. Oh, it went down. It's under Hitomi now. We will see when that goes green. Right now, Abby Holcomb will be in 4th place if that score does not change again. Up from 5th. But even 1 place makes a huge difference for finals.
Yes, it does. And here we're seeing as right now we're in the final couple runs, and it really right now it's a fight to rearrange the top 5 positions and see who gets to go last in the set finals tomorrow.
And that's what we've seen all day today. It's really amazing. This wave is so perfect for showcasing the skills that you've got that the orders really haven't changed that much. We've seen a lot of the top 5 kayakers stay in the top 5 round after round. And the bottom 5 kayakers, they really maybe reversed order a little bit, but in general, the orders are staying strangely predictable because this wave is just so perfect. It's really not that random. When we go to good wave, there's a lot more surges, there's a lot more power, and you're going to see the scores go up and down a lot more. In this one, it's like if you hit your ride is pretty much going to be what it is. And it might go up a little, it might go down a little bit, but the ability of the paddlers really shines through on a wave of this size.
So here we're seeing it looks like Abby's score currently bumped just up above Hitomi, bumping her down to the 4th place, and Abby is going to be sitting in 3rd place. But Hitomi still has her final ride. She still has the ability to completely shake up the leaderboards at the moment.
Oh, and she can do it too. Hitomi can paddle that GG boat way into the air. She is beautiful with the back blunts. She's got the McNasty. She's got the loops. And she's got the endurance and stamina to pull off anything she wants. It's just a question of whether she does it right now.
Exactly, and that is the question that everyone's going to be asking everyone in that eddy at the moment, as she drops into the feature. Looking to start it off with a very nice right blunt.
That was convincing.
Going for the right
blunt
the
way.
other direction. That's 2 good tricks right off the bat. She's looking very good this run. Going for the backstab to the left.
Oh, those angles are looking so good on this ride.
She's really selling it to the judges, making sure that they know exactly what she did.
Oh!
Going for the air screw. And attaining.
Yes!
Beautiful.
Air screw or donkey flip. We haven't seen any of the other women even try that trick. And
The
she's
other
going for the other direction. Amazing. Hitomi is showcasing her skills as a wave master. She's got a home wave, and you can really see what's she going to do next. Oh, going for that big air loop. This is going to be a very good ride for Hitomi. Can she chase Ottilie Robinson-Shaw, though? That's what we're going to have to find out. Going for some quick little roundhouses at the buzzer. She's going to be happy with that.
Yeah, that is exactly what she was looking for on her second run. She definitely wanted to bump up into those top 3 slots, and this basically guarantees her top 3 positions going into finals unless something drastic happens to these scores.
Wow, those were some impressive moves. Every blunt that she threw was beautiful vertical, no question, not leaving it up to chance for those judges. And then right into those either air screws or donkeys, both ways. This Columbus event is supposed to be about wave surfing, and she is throwing those wave tricks. We're seeing a lot of the Europeans who have just come from the World Championships in Nottingham. They've gotten so good at hole tricks that they're all throwing those hole tricks, making this wave look like a hole. But not Hitomi. She's got the wave tricks, and she is showcasing them right now.
Yeah, and as we were saying about the perfect blunts at the beginning, you can really tell that she sold it really well to the judges when you see all 3 scribes put in the same score, and it pops up right on the screen for you.
Making it easy on the judges keeps them sharp for the later point of your ride.
All right, she's waiting for the finalized score to come in. It's looking to be just under 500 points at the moment, chasing right behind Ottilie's score of 546.
And we're looking at Emily Jackson over there getting some tips from her coaches. We got Dane Jackson and Caleb Grady probably giving her tips. Actually, probably not. Knowing Emily, she's probably talking about her favorite lip balm or something like that, and just acting like this is a walk in the park and she already knows what to do. Dane may be giving her some tips. You never know. He's pretty good at strategy. He's quite the technician, but Emily is too. So they could just as easily be talking about, how cute the dog is that they saw earlier today. You never know.
But speaking of awesome, here is her final score for Ride 2, an even 500, putting her in second place. Now we'll have Emily Jackson looking to potentially shake that up again, looking for the second or first place position going into finals.
Wow, that's great to see the women breaking the 500-point barrier. Will Emily be able to break it too?
We'll have to see here as she paddles out to the feature after having given the green flag from the judges. All right, she manages to catch it just on the left, goes for a right blunt, potentially maybe a back roundhouse on that one here. Looking for the backstab to the right. Spinning out to the left, using that shoulder to set herself back up. A beautiful back Pan Am to the right, yes.
Nice ride for that. She got her back Pan Am the first time, but she goes for it again. She's probably thinking that maybe that last one was a back blunt, so she better repeat it and get the back Pan Am for sure this time. Really nice left blunt there. Getting all those angles nice and high. We're not seeing a lot of roundhouses. It's just that one because she wants to break that 500-point barrier. She wants to chase Hitomi and Ottilie and show that she can be the best in the world, despite the fact of having a big job and 2 kids cheering her on from the bank. Great ride for Miss Emily Jackson. I don't know if that's going to be enough. Hard to say. We really missed those air screws, and we were missing those blunt nasties of Ottie's. We'll see what the judges say.
Definitely upping her first score, which is always, always very nice on your own mental game when you're paddling out there. Is always trying to best yourself in a way, but looking like not quite push yourself up into the second place.
Let's see, it's 426 so far, so she has bettered her score, but not quite up to Hitomi's 500. But 500 is a lot. We're saying a lot of the best men in the world are only breaking 500.
Yeah, it's been a very interesting competition. This feature is extremely difficult. It is much slower than Good Wave, which will be the feature for World Cup number 2 in the final of the World Cup later this week, where you'll see a lot. I believe you'll see a lot more really big air tricks on that feature later on. This one really relies you to muscle out, dig your edge as deep as you can to pop your boat as far out of the water as you possibly can.
This is the technician's wave. You really got to be good. You got to be powerful, you got to be quick, and you got to come down on that forward stroke just perfectly. Whereas Good Wave, the wave is going to throw you so high. It's more about having really good balance in the air and being able to time the surges of that wave. The boils come up Good Wave so randomly. You could be coming down the face and a boil comes up and sends you into the air whether you want to go or not. Or you could be coming down looking for a big pass, and a little whiffle of the wave just tells you no and shuts you down. So there's going to be a lot more guessing and trying to adapt to the feature on Good Wave. Whereas this wave, it's really nice and smooth. The dam's right upstream. The water's perfectly smooth and calm and green. It's the technician's feature.
So here we just saw Emily's final score for ride 2 come at 470, definitely besting her first ride, but not quite enough to bump her into the second or first slot. Now we have Ottilie coming in. She's pretty comfortably sitting in first. She doesn't have to worry too much about that, but knowing her, she's going to want to best her own score. She's never satisfied with what she can do. She always wants to do better.
Beautiful entry 3 again. Not quite as high as the first one, but still a beautiful entry move. Very few of the women trying that trick because it is so risky. But she did get the 80 points, and that's going to help her score. Big fat front loop right there. She looks like she's done that 100 times a day for a couple of years because she probably has.
Oh, most
really
definitely.
really nice back blunt there. Oh, really bobbling that back blunt the other way, but she does manage to retain the feature. Look at that, landing right on her side, but pulling so fast that she got the boat under her, and she managed to retain the wave. Oh, gosh, that one is, well, it's a practice ride. It was basically a victory lap at this point for Ottilie Robinson-Shaw with a 546. She's already sitting on a 546. This ride will not be as good, but it doesn't matter. That was basically practice for tomorrow.
Exactly, and as we're seeing it right now, again, it is not the official final results from the judges. We will have those a little later, but as we look at right now, for finals tomorrow, in first place, we're sitting with Ottilie Robinson-Shaw with a 546. Hitomi Takaku with 500 points. Emily Jackson with a 470. Abby Holcomb with a 328. And Zofia Tula with a 328 as well.
That was a great showing for the women's class. I'm so stoked to see the women breaking the 500-point barrier. That is really good showing for the women. And who is going to go next?
So next up, we're going to have the junior men's semifinal heats. There will be 2 heats of that, and we will be starting that off extremely shortly in, looks like potentially even less than a minute.
Okay, well, I am signing off because I'm about to go do some judging. Great talking with you, Zach, and what a great show those women put on.
Yes, that was incredible. We will pass it on to the next commentators. We will be with you guys again later. Zach signing off.
Alrighty, we're back. It's Sophie and Mason. Back on the mic. We have the semifinals for the junior men's kayak class coming up. This is going to be a 2 rides, 1 counts format. This is going to decide who goes to finals, the top 5. They are in reverse seating from yesterday, the prelims. Who do we have up?
Looks like our first heat, we have Louis from the States, Gail Beal from France, Ian from the States. I believe he is somewhat of a local here. And then we have Magnus from the United States of America and Marshall Parsons from Canada.
This is going to be an amazing heat to watch. A lot of these guys may have not had their best rides in the prelims and got placed lower, so they're wanting to show off what they have here. This is kind of just throw it all out there on the line, because if you get out this round, you're not paddling again until Thursday. So these guys want to paddle in finals. I'm excited to watch the show. This is the future of freestyle kayaking.
Yeah, this is going to be a very good semifinal. We just watched earlier today we had lots of things. We had the men's quarterfinals, the junior women's prelims, C1 men and women, and then we just most recently had the senior women's semifinals. So tomorrow is going to be a day full of finals and semifinals for the senior men.
Looks like first up we have Louis Chapata from the United States, hailing out of Atlanta, dropping in for his first ride of 2 with that Warner paddle in hand, maybe looking for a roundhouse to start things off, backing it up. Back roundhouse there to the left. He is surfing over to that right shoulder of this ambush wave. Looking for that blunt or roundhouse to the left. That's very nice. Trying to get more vertical for the blunt there, the back blunt.
These athletes really want to get that verticality on their boat just so that they can make sure they're scoring the most amount of points possible, whether that be, going for a loop.
That was a nice aerial loop there. Can he stick it? He did stick it. It'll be up to the judges if he actually scores that or not. Spinning it around, trying to get every single points he can, and that is time for Louis. He's nodding his head. He's like, "Yep, that's what we wanted." There's a thumbs up. That's a solid first ride.
So these athletes are going to get 2 rides, and their best ride counts. So if he's not happy with this ride, he's still got another to show us what he's got.
For sure. We got the sun setting here in the Columbus, Georgia area. Around 45 points we're seeing for a preliminary,
I believe Mason Hargrove is intending to say.
Yeah, we're seeing those scores at the bottom of our screen there. We're just waiting for the judges to give us the green light, and they will give us the final score for that one. Looks like we just got our finals results for this women's, and moving into finals is going to be Zofia, Abby, Emily, Hitomi, and Ottilie. Those would be in reverse order. There it is. There's the green score, 38.33 points for Louis. Solid first ride, but I reckon we're going to need a little bit more points for that to get into the finals.
Next up, we have Gail Beal from France. He is dropping in with that carbon gigi prod. Lots of the Europeans have those carbon gigis. We've seen a few of them out here today. Dropping in for that entry wing over 2. We haven't seen many athletes try those as they are risky. Looking for that blunt to the right. Setting back up on that foam. Looking for the blunt in the other direction. Super snappy from Gail. Looking for that back blunt roundhouse. We'll have to see what the judges say on that angle. Cycling back up, looking for that donkey flip, just catching a little bit of green to the face and flushing off the back there. He's going to make his way back up the eddy. 14 more seconds for him to get back in that feature and throw down whatever he can.
Yeah, around 185 points right now. He has 5 seconds left on the clock. I'm not too sure he's going to be able to get up there. That eddy on river left is super swirly, but it's still a solid ride score from Gil.
Yeah, I think he's going to be happy with that, but he's got another ride to polish it off. These athletes want to make top 5 to be moving into the final and have a shot at that podium.
Yeah, from yesterday, the 5th place run had a 263-point run. So that's what we're going to be looking around to get into that top 5. That was Mateo Williams, and the highest score we saw yesterday was an 8:10 by Nanaste. So a big range of what these guys are going to need to do to step it up. There's Ian. He's getting ready. We're just waiting for the judges to tabulate the score up for the Frenchie. The Frenchie are known for going big, throwing a lot of dynamic moves. We saw Tom Dole earlier today throwing down in the men's class.
Coming in a green color, that's a 166.67 for Gale. I believe that puts him into first position. And we have Ian coming up next.
Ian, one of the little shredders out of Pennsylvania in that brand new ice color Rockstar.
I have to say, I'm a big fan of those blue-on-blue Rockstars. Dropping into that feature, catching the wave. I think he might be looking for a blunt or back blunt, maybe a shove it there. Setting up on that top of that foam pile, looking for a bounce, not quite what he wanted. A nice big snappy loop from Ian. And a right blunt, looking super confident out there, trying to get us set up for some more tricks. He wants to be a contender. Maybe looking for that roundhouse the same direction. A back blunt, super vertical. I think he's He's got 12 seconds left. What else can Ian throw down? Might be looking for McNasty there. I'm not quite sure. That blunt in the other direction, super snappy. Can he get that back blunt? Nice. This is a stacked ride for Ian. I think he's going to be happy with that.
That was a super solid ride by Ian. We saw a lot of great tricks. We saw some back blunts, some blunts. We saw a huge aerial loop at the beginning of his ride. Looking around in 3:16 right now, that might do it. That was a really good ride. It's going to be hard to say what the cutoff is going to be to make the finals, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be close to what it is.
Yeah, like we saw yesterday, a lot of these junior men, it was their first competition, first international competition, whatever it was. They're learning how to deal with those nerves, and I think a lot of them have got it on lock, and they're ready to throw down today.
Yeah, I think they're settling into the competition nicely. There's that sun beaming right down on Ambush. It's a beautiful venue out here in Columbus, Georgia, and Phoenix City on the Chattahoochee River. It's my home. I love to share this with all my international friends. It's amazing to see the river packed. The riverbanks are full of just top-notch athletes, and all these juniors are pushing the sport of freestyle. Next up, let's go ahead and look down our heat list. We have Magnus Monson. He has been working with H2O Dreams and Chris Wing over this summer, and also attending Keeners, which is a program up on the Ottawa. It looks like we have a score, 295 points for Ian. Solid first ride score. He might need to up that a little bit more to get into the finals, but we'll see. We have a whole nother heat of amazing paddlers after this, but right now it's Magnus's time to shine. Bib number 37. Let's see what you got for us, buddy.
Dropping in, just catching a bit of an edge. Oh, an accidental plug into a loop, just flushing off the back. He's going to fight his way back up that boilie eddy. He still has 36 seconds to throw down all of his tricks. Maybe looking for a setup on a spin. Another accidental little plug there. He's got points on the board. Looking to set up a back blunt, back roundhouse maybe. Looking for that loop. He wants to stick that. He needs those points on the board if he wants to be a part of those final 5 tomorrow. Looking for that back blunt in the other direction. Staying retained in the feature. Trying to set up those passes. Looking for that McNasty. Not quite pulling it around. Doesn't look like he's too happy with that one, but he has got another ride.
For sure. I mean, in freestyle kayaking, you have to have a short-term memory loss, especially if you don't have a good ride. You have to be like, okay, I have 2 rides. One I get to completely throw away, so it doesn't matter if I don't get a good run on this one. Magnus going to come in with a 22.33. Definitely not his best run, but he can improve. Looks like next up we have Marshall Parsons from Canada.
Hailing from Barrie, Ontario, Marshall spends his summers on the Ottawa. He is no stranger to Garburator, which I believe was the most recent Wave Worlds, and the next Wave Worlds will be here on Good Wave, just downstream. So we are excited to see what Marshall has to throw down.
What did Marshall place in team trials for Canada?
I believe he was in the top 5, just missing the team by a couple spots. A little bit of an unfortunate ride for him, but he is here to show the world what he's got.
For sure. I can see Caleb Grady, head coach of Team Canada and World Class Kayak Academy over there cheering him on. Here he goes, dropping into the wave for his first ride. Here he goes, missing that first pass, but didn't like the looks of it. Setting up on that surfer's left side, going straight for the blunt to the right. An unfortunate catch of edge.
Into a back deck roll. He's going to try and haul back up that eddy as fast as humanly possible. Marshall is one of Canada's strongest wave groms, and he wants to show the world that. Getting back into that feature with 15 seconds left on the clock. What is he going to do? Oftentimes we see these paddlers go for their Hail Mary, what we call their high-risk trick that scores a lot of points. Looks like he's going for those blunts, keeping it safe. He just wants points on the board. He has his second ride to go.
Yeah, we see around 25 points. We'll have to see what the judges give on that one. Maybe he got a different air bonus or a huge bonus. Maybe not getting the verticality for the blunts. Looks like he's going to go 25 points for Marshall's first ride. Each of these tricks had a predetermined point value and a strict definition, and these judges are watching a screen where you're doing the first ever live scoring during this competition. But there is our top 5 as of right now. Ian is on top, 295 points, a solid first ride score. But let's see if any of these guys can up and get up on top of the podium. If you want a chance to get into the next round, you're going to need to be in the top 5 or top spot as of right now. Louis just going for that entry move, but unfortunately throwing a little bit too much edge and flushing out. 35 seconds and charging back into the feature.
Getting back on that wave. Looking for that blunt, maybe just not happy with that pass. He's going to try and cycle back up to the top and throw it again. There we have that roundhouse from him. These athletes have to get their stern all the way back upstream to count it. Looks like maybe trying to set up a back blunt there. He's got 10 more seconds. That's what that high-pitched buzzer means. Going for the plug, looking for that loop, just flushing off the back of the foam. And that is going to be all for Louis.
Yeah, that's Louis' second ride. That'll be his final ride in this World Cup number 1. We still have to wait and see what the other heat has to do, but all the other heat placed ahead of him in the prelims, so we'll see. Sticking with his first ride score of 38.33 points. Next, we're back up to the Frenchie in that beautiful carbon Gigi Prod boat. You see Dane Jackson and Caleb Grady over there. There's the beautiful timer. Here he goes, sizing up the feature, dropping in. Here he goes, straight into the entry move, landing nice and backwards.
Those French have those beautiful aerial entry moves. They want to keep their heads dry so they can score more points. Look for that blunt to the right. Setting back up on the foam, blunt in the other direction. Gale is snappy with those blunts, maybe looking for a back blunt. He is just flushing off the foam. He's going to make his way back up that eddy. He has 24 seconds to get back up and in there. He wants to be in the top 5. These athletes are fighting. They are hungry. Looking for that plug, maybe not just quite getting his bow down. Looking for the donkey flip, just flushing off the end. I think he might be claiming that one and will most likely stick with his score from his first ride. You know, he's claiming it. He's happy to be out here, happy to be in a kayak.
Yeah, 100%. All these guys are out here just having a blast. It's just an amazing atmosphere to be around all these international guys. The ones you've been seeing on Instagram, you finally get to meet them in person. You get to see and paddle the features you've seen on video. It's a lot of these guys first time out of the country or paddling in the United States. So it's really cool to see them out here, especially the internationals. Looks like he's going to stick with his first ride score of 166.67. If you ever see that 6.7 or 3.3, that means one judge or two judges gave it. There's 3 judges, and then they averaged the score out here. But we're moving to one of the part-time local boys. Ian lives in Pennsylvania but spends a lot of time down here hanging out with Chloe. Here he goes, straight in, blunt to the right. Can you back it up with another blunt, getting those spins, getting those roundhouses, getting the shove-its, very nice. Going for that blunt to the left, maybe a cartwheel. Can he stay retained? Oh, just unfortunately catching that edge.
23 seconds left on the clock. He is going to take those confident strokes back up the eddy and try and get back in that.
Yeah, there's plenty of time still on the clock. Maybe he's going to go for that back blunt. There you go, very nice. Maybe not the pace of ride 1, but he can still throw some big tricks. Maybe going for that McNasty. Is he going to get the edge to catch? 3, 2, 1. Oh, unfortunately not. But that was still a super solid ride. He's sticking his tongue out. He's having a blast out here. He's nodding his head. He knows his first ride was a super solid score, and that it's definitely going to contend with the guys that are coming up next. He's done all he can, and now he just sits back and watches and prays.
It can be a nerve-wracking thing, Mason. I believe you've been there a few times.
I've definitely been there a few times, semifinals of World Championships in the past. Just sitting there waiting. You can't do anything about it. You just gotta hope and watch.
Yeah, it's a tough place to be, but
It's a fun place to be sometimes.
fun sometimes, I guess. I suppose. Mason was our quarterfinalist champion this morning, and we're going to see a lot more of him tomorrow, I believe.
Yeah, tomorrow it's going to be a super packed day, full of a lot of finals, full of the semifinals for the men as well. I'm super excited for it. It's going to be a lot of paddling and a lot of stuff coming at you guys quick. There's Ian's second ride score, 108.33. But next up, Magnus from the U.S. This is his first ever competition. He is stoked to be out here gaining experience.
Game face is on.
Color coordination is key. Even that paddle tape is red.
Absolutely. Red boats are fast boats, I hear. They go really big. Looking for that pass. Maybe not quite getting what he wanted there. Catching a bit of an edge, and he's going to paddle really hard. Just flushing off that back of that wave. One of our younger juniors out here, proving that he is a contender. He is good enough to play with the big dogs. Looking for that plug loop. Maybe not quite coming around as straight as the judges prefer. I guess we're going to have to see what they think about that one. Looking for that back roundhouse. We saw him try some McNasties earlier. Is that going to be his Hail Mary? Looks like it. Trying to get that edge catch coming around. Maybe not quite quick enough. Oh, just missing those McNasties.
That is time for Magnus.
He does not look happy with that ride. But, you know, he is young. This is not going to be the last we see of him.
Definitely not. Staying consistent. 23.33 points for Magnus. That is going to be the end of his rides here at the World Cups. But that's right. He has a lot of competitions to come in his days. This is definitely not going to be the last we see of him.
Next up, we have Marshall Parsons from Canada in that beautiful yellow and blue boat courtesy of Whitewater Express. Marshall is one of my personal best friends. I'm stoked to be able to announce and watch him throw down here today.
He's shaking off all the extra jitters. Here he goes. He's into the wave.
Trying to get that set up. They want to get nice on top of the foam so they can have speed and throw their tricks snappy. Looking for that blunt to the right. Maybe not quite getting that verticality that he needs. Looking for the back blunt right away.
Yeah, he's not messing around. He knows what he needs to do to get on the top of the podium to make it to finals tomorrow. Not liking that bounce. They're trying to skip their boats like rocks over the water. There he goes, getting that nice verticality for the blunt. He's going to get an air bonus on that one as well. Going for the blunt to the other direction.
Just flushing off there. Up, Marshall. Back in that. Get back in that feature. He has some of the nicest blunts and back blunts I think I've seen. Very consistent. That's going to be time for Marshall. I think he's going to improve on his previous ride, but it might not be enough to get him through to the next round.
Yeah, he definitely had a better second ride than his first, but we'll have to only time will tell if he's going to make it to the next round or not.
And there's his score turning green, coming in at 101.67 points.
Yeah, moving him into third place. And that'll be his rides. Again, these guys just sit back and watch. And I think that is it for this round. Ian up in top with 295 points. The Frenchie 166. The Canadian 101.67. Louis 38.33. And then Magnus rounding it out with a 23.33 points. But here we go, moving straight into the next round. The judges are going to take a little bit of a break. There is a shot of our judges. You can see they are just looking at those screens. They actually aren't looking directly at the feature. They're watching a live feed scoring on the other side of the river. There it is. Next up, we're going to have Cashin from the U.S. Oop. Cashin from the U.S. Naneste from Japan. Matteo from the U.S. Ani from Finland. And Matteo Williams from New Zealand. It's going to be an action-packed heat.
I believe almost every single one of these athletes, with the exception of Mateo Kowalczyk, who's a little shredder from Idaho, were in attendance at the most recent World Championships. So this is going to be a really fun heat to watch. We've got definitely some favorites to root for, some underdogs.
Yeah, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back here in about 5 minutes. We'll see you guys in a sec. Alrighty, we just got word from the judges. We are going to roll straight into it because we are freestyle kayaking. We roll not on schedule. We're going to go ahead of schedule. We are very efficient.
Efficiency is the name of the game in freestyle.
It's very true. How many tricks can you get in? So these judges are getting back ready for this. Paul Shep is just changing shirts.
You got to do what you got to do.
Got to do what you got to do. There it is. There is our heat list. Sophie, tell me who we have coming up.
First up, we got Mateo Kowalczyk from Idaho, United States of America, a little shredder. And then second up, we have Matteo Williams from New Zealand, I believe living in North Carolina. And then third in our heat, we've got Cashin Porter Shirley from USA, Ani Aronen from Finland, and Nanase Okazaki from Japan.
We have our first rider coming up, Matteo, all the way from Idaho, paddling the North Fork of the Payette on the regular. This guy knows how to creek boat and knows how to throw down in a freestyle boat. Here he goes, surfing the wave. Going straight into the roundhouse to the left, backing it up, coming into a front surf again. Looks like he's going to go maybe for the blunt. There it is, blunt to the right. Spinning around, getting those all the points he can. Already at 40 points. Maybe looking for the blunt there instead of the roundhouse. There's that back roundhouse there. It's all up to the judges on what they give him. Trying to get that vertical so we can get the score for the blunt and not just the roundhouse.
Maybe looking for those back blunts. He's got, Mateo Kowalczyk, the king of those beautiful vert back blunts. Maybe even a back Pan Am. Right on the buzzer. I'm not sure if it was initiated. So to score these tricks, they have to all be initiated before the buzzer. That signifies the end of their ride. So hopefully Mateo was able to squeeze that one in. Looks like his score is floating around 161 points. We'll see what that comes down to.
We just had Chloe run down beside us, coming to hug Ian. He is still just sitting on the side of the river here waiting for the scores to come in to see if he's going to be paddling tomorrow in the finals. Mateo's score still hovering around that 161 mark. We are waiting to see what it's going to end up as. 165. There's another. All the judges gave something. We don't know exactly what it is. We're just commentators.
We are not judges.
But looking at that right now, that would put him in the third place. He is not safe with that score. He still needs to up his score if he wants to get in. Right now, to be safe into finals, you need a 295-point ride to be safe. Ian is still on top, and there it is, 165 even for Mateo's first ride score. That is going to put him in third place. But next, we're headed up to Mateo Williams from New Zealand. Here he is. Here he goes. He's charging out. He's throwing some water in his face. He's getting hyped up. What is he going to have for us? I'm excited to watch this. I know he's been throwing a lot of super quick moves, super fast.
Dropping in there, just catching that wave, opting out of the entry move, looking for one of those blunts. Looking for that back blunt, maybe back roundhouse. Back blunt in the other direction. Setting back up on that other shoulder, looking for that blunt or roundhouse maybe to the right. Using that shoulder, setting up nicely on the foam. Getting a spin, trying to get all the points he can. Looking for the donkey flip there. Impressive moves from these junior athletes. Catching a bit of an edge at the end of his ride. I think he's going to be claiming that one for now.
Yeah, that was a solid first ride score, already at 198 points. The judges still have to talk about some of the tricks that he did, especially like that donkey flip we saw. That was an amazing trick. They'll have to see if he either got all the way around and pulled it back under him for the air screw or got the lower scoring donkey flip. He did a lot of other amazing blunts and back blunts in that ride, not going for any of the hole tricks we've seen some of the other competitors do. So we'll see if he's going to add that to his second score if he needs to up it to get into the final positioning. 198.33, that is going to move him into second place. But again, he is not safe moving into the finals yet. So all he can do is sit and wait. I'm excited to see it. Next up, Cashin Porter Shirley from Asheville.
World-class academic student and also big on the creek boating. Good friend of mine. Going to see what he has to throw down today.
Yeah, this guy rips in every single type of kayaking. There he goes, dropping into the feature, going straight for the blunt to the right. Still on the feature. Here he goes. Not liking that pass. He's going to back it up. Back blunt to the left. That was huge in aerial, maybe backing it into some cartwheels. Can he stay retained? Yes, he does. There's those super strong forward strokes.
That green race training coming into play here.
Yeah, I heard green races tomorrow.
I've heard similar rumors. Spinning it around, maybe looking for a McNasty there. Not quite getting that bow catch that he needed.
10 seconds left on the clock. What does Cashin have to us? He needs one more big trick, maybe a McNasty. Yep, backing it up. There he goes. Boom, huge McNasty. Oh.
McNasty from Cashin, not quite sticking that. That's going to be time for Cashin.
Yeah, that is time for Cashin. Looking around a 148.33 as of right now. We'll have to see what the judges are saying after they talk about it just a little bit more. We still have two more paddlers in this heat to go that can mix up that whole leaders board. But that was definitely a solid ride by Cashin.
currently nobody in this second heat is safe and through to finals. We're going to have to see what they have in store for their second rides and if they can top Ian's impressive 295-point ride.
Yeah, as of right now, if Cashin's score stays the same, he'll be knocking Marshall out of that 5th place position, but just hanging out in the 5th place position. And who will be, yep, Cashin, there it goes, 145. Even will be his score. He moves into 5th place. Unfortunately, Marshall is out of the competition, but we still have the Frenchie and Mateo and Ian in the finals. Here goes Anais from Finland in that Apex Rebound prototype boat.
Courtesy of Eric Jackson, who we saw competing earlier in the quarterfinals today.
Yeah, here goes Anais dropping in. I've seen him out here for the past few weeks, ripping around straight into the blunt to the right. Looking around for his next trick. What does he have for us? Maybe a blunt to the left. There it is. Yep, got both of those knocked off. He's going to go for a back blunt now. There it is. Maybe a back roundhouse, not getting that bow as vertical as he wanted to. Maybe going for the loop, but not getting that bow to initiate.
Trying again for that loop. It is hard to get. Looking for that back blunt. Oh, and maybe sticking that donkey flip. That's impressive. We're going to have to see what the judges have to say about that. That is the non-aerial version of an air screw. Looking for that McNasty, bringing it around, not quite retaining it. I think that is going to be all for Anais this ride.
Yeah, with the scores we're seeing on the board right now, 155, that'll move him into 5th place. That might be enough, but he still has another paddler, Nanaste, who placed 1st in prelims yesterday to say something about that. So none of these guys are safe as of right now, and each of these guys get one more ride after this one. So it's all going to shake out to who can pull it together in the second rides, who's not going to let the pressure get to him. Oh, there goes 185, 191. It's going up. What's it going to land at? No one knows until those judges hit confirm.
Will it be enough to pull him into second above Mateo Williams? I guess we will see.
I can see the Japanese over there getting loud for their homeboy, Nanaste.
Impressive support crew he's got himself here. His friends, family throwing him some dance moves, getting him stoked. Love to see it out here. They just love it. Strong contributors to this amazing atmosphere we have.
Yeah, the freestylers are definitely a different breed. These guys love to have fun. They are all around amazing athletes.
Nanaste paddling up to the wave, giving his fans a little wave hello.
Looks like Anais' score came in at 195. He is going to move into 3rd place. But, oh, Nanaste going for that entry move and flushing off.
That is not a good way to start your ride. Those entry moves are good because they help you score up points on the board right away, just as your time starts. Looking for that clean blunt to that back roundhouse. Those clean blunts are super hard, and we haven't seen many people try them. Looking for that clean blunt in the other direction. Very impressive move from Nanaste. Looking for that back blunt.
Yeah, Nanaste around 260 points as of right now. Going for the air screw.
That is, Nanaste knows how to fly. That is something I've noticed at Worlds and now World Championships. Looking for that clean blunt nasty. Nanaste showing up the senior competitors here, looking for that McNasty. This is a huge ride considering his flush at the very beginning. He's stoked, he's smiling. He is happy with that one. Give it up for Nanaste, rock on.
Yeah, it just shows you that you never need to give up. You just need to keep charging all the way to the top. He's just showing us another huge aerial trick. He came in that clean blunt McNasty. That was a super steezy move by the young Japanese paddler. 665 points. Absolutely raising the bar.
I bet we've got Coach Keem Fontaine watching from home. Super proud of this young athlete. Very impressive moves.
Yeah, he is going to be one to watch for the years to come. He is an all-around amazing paddler, always smiling, always trying to try some new tricks and bring in a new style to this freestyle community. I've been so so stoked to watch him grow from 2019 competing against him, and now watching him in the junior class and just absolutely dominate in this World Cup event. It's amazing.
Judges really thinking hard on that one. Lots of high-scoring moves, lots of combos. This is one of the scores we would see from one of our senior men with a flush at the very beginning of his ride. This is super impressive stuff.
Yeah, just imagine what he can do if he stays in the wave for the whole time.
Yeah, the future of freestyle is bright, especially with this young Japanese.
100%. If this score stands, he is going to be the first competitor that's going to be safe. There it goes, 665 points. Nanase is safe into the finals. We're going to see him paddling again tomorrow afternoon. He is stoked on that one. All right, this is it.
Next up, we got Mateo Kowalczyk from Idaho.
If you want to paddle again tomorrow, Mateo, you need to up your score. Here he goes. He needs to get 100, and Mateo's actually in right now. So all he needs to do is make 189 points.
Mateo Kowalczyk is not in right now. He is setting up for that roundhouse to the left there.
Yeah, sorry, Mateo Kowalczyk is not, but he's...
That blunt in the other direction, maybe linking into a bit of a cartwheel end there.
Yeah, that
Setting
was
up for
huge.
those back blunts. We've seen Mateo throw some absolutely gorgeous back blunts. See if we can get one. He can get one in before the buzzer today. Setting it up. Wonderful back blunt. Maybe verging on back Pan Am. Super impressive stuff from this Idaho Grom. 9 seconds left. What is his last trick going to be? He's going to want to throw something big. Back blunt the other direction. This is going to be a good ride for Mateo. That's the buzzer. He is stoked on that one.
That was a super solid ride. That's definitely going to up his first ride score of 165. We're waiting for the judges to say that. He is currently in 6th place. If he wants to get in, the 5th place is 166.67. But there's other paddlers in this heat that can say otherwise. I bet you the score is going to go up just a little bit more.
The only athlete who's currently safe is Nanase from Japan. Oh, it looks like his score is bouncing around at 206.
Yeah, those judges just deliberating. You can see Mateo and Cash in there just waiting to hear the score. They want to make sure they get all these points added up. They want to know who is actually throwing these tricks the best, who's taking full advantage of ambush.
There it is, locked in at 206.67 for Mateo Kowalczyk. That puts him in 3rd place. Not yet safe to the final, but that is definitely a good spot for him to be.
All right, Mateo Williams, this is it. He is in 4th place right now, but he knows he can throw a lot more tricks that can up him, maybe even to the top of the podium. Here he goes. This is his last run in this semifinals, going straight into entry 2, keeping his body completely dry, right into blunts to the left. He's going to back it up with a back blunt. Yes, he is. Nice vertical aerial back blunt and blunt to the right. And a back blunt to the right. He's moving trick to trick right now. Already getting more points in his first one. Going for the air screw. Can he stick it?
Mateo getting those super vertical blunts. He really wants those points for all 4 blunts. And that air screw, which we haven't seen that much in the junior class. Really changing the game. 5 seconds left. What is he going to do? Looking for McNasty maybe. 2 seconds left. Can he do it? There he goes. Just flushing off the back. I think he's still going to be happy with that one. That should put him up in the rankings.
Yeah, that was definitely a better ride than his first. Already at 271.67 points. The judges will have to tabulate it up on that one. But I think with that ride, he might be safe in it to finals. There's only 2 others that can say or 3 others that can say something about that. We'll see what they're going to give him. 171 we're seeing right now. But that air screw, that was only other non-estate is the person we've seen trying that trick. Just a super high caliber of people, of juniors out here ripping it up on ambush. It's amazing to see these guys trying some of the harder tricks on the score sheet. There it goes, 305. It's going up. One of the judges gave it. I can see his dad getting super stoked over there. 308.33. Is that going to be the final score? If so, that would move him into 2nd place, right ahead of Ian.
The crowd is on the edge of their seats. People are watching the scoreboard closely. Hugs are being given out. The people are stoked for this young shredder.
315, it's still going.
How high can it go?
315, there it is. It's green. Mateo moves into 2nd place, bumping Ian to 3rd.
Mateo is going to be safe for that final round.
Yeah, 100%. All we have left is Cash, and he is the only person who can change who is in finals as of right now.
Cashin could cause an upset. Currently not in those top 5. He wants to be there. Cashin knows he can be a contender in those top 5s. Looking for both of those blunts. Maybe linking those into a bit of a cartwheel and setting back up on that foam. He does not want to be wasting a pass. He wants as many tricks as fast as possible. Looking for a really nice back blunt there. Setting back up, maybe looking for the other back blunt. Catching a bit of an edge, but staying retained in the feature. Coming down, using that speed for that donkey flip, just flushing off the back. He is going to pull himself back up. He's currently sitting at around a 170. He needs at least a 195 to be in those top 5 competitors.
Come on, Cashin.
Pull as hard as he possibly can. And that is going to be all for Cashin Porter Shirley.
That is Times throwing that air screw right after the buzzer went off. Right now, he is sitting at a 170 even. That is not enough to put him into the final round. We'll have to wait to see what the judges. He went for that donkey flipper air screw right there, kind of towards the end of his ride, and unfortunately flushed.
Yeah, that is always crushing. Cashin training on the Ottawa a few weeks ago improved so much. I saw him throw some of the coolest air screws ever on push button.
There it is, 158.33. That's going to be his final score. He is going to be in 7th place. So unfortunately, Cashin is not in the finals, but we do know who our finalists are. Ani is safe in. We have Naneste, Mateo, Ian, Mateo, and Ani. It's just what order are they going to be paddling in tomorrow? He's stoked. He has no pressure taken off of him. He has all the pressure taken off him. No stress. He's just going to go throw a big ride and try and improve his score so he can be the last paddler to paddle tomorrow and see what the score is going to be to beat.
These paddlers want to be in the top spot so they can go last and watch their competitors. Looking for that blunt to the right, into that back blunt, into that other blunt. Spinning around, trying to get back on top of that foam. He wants that last back blunt so he can have all 4 on lock. Maybe looking for that loop. Beautiful loop. Maybe catching some air there. Those hole tricks scoring much higher than the wave tricks, so we've seen those being very popular within these rounds. Beautiful donkey flip from Ani. He is hungry. Looking for that McNasty. Just flushing off the back. He's got 10 seconds left. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to make it back up that eddy, but regardless, that was an amazing ride from Ani.
It's definitely going to up his first ride score of 195. Already 331 points on the board. That'll move him into 2nd place.
He will be going 2nd last tomorrow. Look at that nice loop. Just having fun. He's happy to be here. Quite the trek from Finland, but... Yeah,
there's that beautiful shot of this Chattahoochee River, my home spot. Got a beautiful green, that greenery looking down. You can see the city in the background. What's it gonna be? There it goes, 328 points. He moves into second place, pushing both the Mateos down a spot, and Ian and Nanaste is going to get a victory lap. He's gonna just be able to try and up and beat his own score.
No matter what happens, Nanaste has this top position, so tomorrow he will be going last in that final.
Yeah, he is ripping. Let's see if he's going to pull something special out, and that now that he has no pressure on him.
Insanely large entry move. That was incredible. I'm convinced this boat is magical. It just wants to touch the sky. Looking for that clean blunt nasty right off the bat. Nanaste does not fail to impress. Looking for that clean blunt in the other direction. Backing it up, looking for that. Oh, maybe catching an unfortunate edge. He's got 22 seconds. He knows he's in that top spot. He is just here because he loves to kayak.
Yeah, even with that first sequence of moves, he's at 516 points. That alone would have put him at the top of the board. That shows how high of a caliber he is paddling at. Going for that loop at the end and not getting it. That's all right. He had a super solid start. He is smiling big. He is stoked.
Nanaste is all teeth. He is super happy with that, as he should be. Super impressive scores from this young one. Got his fans on the shore, his fellow countrymen.
There goes Dane, getting some practice rides in the hole, getting ready for tomorrow. And there it is. There is our top 10. First off, Nanaste, and then Ani, Mateo, Ian, Mateo, Gil, Cashin, Marshall, Louis, and then Magnus. What a solid showing from all of these guys. It was awesome to watch. Let's just talk about what we have going on tomorrow. It is action-packed. We're going to start it off early around 11:45 with the men semifinals. We're going to be cutting to the finals there. Then we're going to go straight into OC1 finals, and then women's C1 finals, men's C1 finals. We're going to have a quick break and then move into the junior class with the women's K1 and the men's K1 junior finals. And then it's the show of the junior the men and the women's finals, followed by an award ceremony. So we hope you guys stick around for an action-packed full day.
Tomorrow will be exciting. There will be upsets and triumphs. I am sure of it. There we have our men's semifinal results again. Mateo squared, that's exciting. And two young, new to international competition athletes down there in 4th and 5th position with Ian and Mateo. They are going to be stoked to be up in those top 5.
Yeah, it'll be a finals. It'll be a first finals for them both. We are signing off. Mason Hargrove
and Sophie Gilfillan.
We'll see you guys later.
Peace out.